Alright, y'all, it's your boy Prince the Hustle God, and we reaching in our combat tool bag one more again. It is a cold black affair. Shout out to the mighty LDBC, LDBC only, LDBC everywhere. This is my pound for pound list, y'all. I'm excited about this one. Hopefully, everything is synced up right. So let's start it out. Number one, we got Terrence Bud Crawford. Not a big fan of him personally, his personal antics and blah blah blah. But being a champion at 135, undisputed at 140, and a champion at 147, it says a lot about his actual abilities and what he can do in the ring. So he's earned it. He's definitely earned the number one spot, being a clean fighter, having the ability to bang. A lot of people put a lot of weight in his switch hitting. I just think he's a very, very good converted southpaw, who can fight a little bit out of the orthodox, but it's not really his best stance. So yeah, we got number two, Terrence Bud Crawford. Number one, Terrence Bud Crawford. Number two, hopefully this stays synced up. But number two, we have none other than Jamel, Iron Man, Charlo. I mean, this guy fights in one of the steepest divisions in boxing. If I'm being all the way honest, I would look at it as like heavyweight obviously will always be one of the steepest divisions because you can get your life ended with one shot from a heavyweight. And not saying that can't happen in any other weight classes, it's just the possibility increases the bigger you are. But then you have literally right after that welterweight, and then 154, and then I'd say 135. So to be literally the man to beat all of the guys, to become undisputed in the third most difficult weight division to fight in, it says a lot. So number two, Jamel Iron Man Charlo. Number three, and that was obviously because he's undisputed in that weight class. But number three, we have number seven in the four belt era of undisputed. We have number seven. Damn, I'm trying to phrase this right. The number seventh undisputed person in the four belt era. Number three on the list, we have Devin the Dream Haney. Again, in one of the steepest divisions in boxing. This guy was the most ducked person in his division. And skill-wise, when we look at the Dream, Black Jesus, Devin Haney, he's literally the closest thing to Floyd Mayweather in modern boxing in the post-Floyd Mayweather era. The use of his jabs, his counter ability, his feet, just an amazing fighter. So, that said, we have number four, and my number four pound-for-pound fighter is my favorite fighter in the game right now, Earl the Truth Spence Jr., Free Smoke Spence. Why does he make my pound-for-pound list? Having only been in one weight class and not being undisputed, well, he took the hardest route. He's one fight away from undisputed with my pound-for-pound number one, and he would be the only person in the four belt era to go and take each belt off of each champion, and that's four, and also in their prime, like the best versions of themselves. And he's literally the man, and has been the man in the number two, technically the number one most difficult division in boxing, but because of technique, but number two because of the heavyweight. So definitely my pound for pound number four, and will be pound for pound number one when he beats Bud. But number five, we gotta have the boy Cool Boy Steph. Cool Boy Steph was was one of the first. Was one of the first of the young guys unified, getting the WBA and WBC. He had it before. Devin was undisputed, and I just don't see what's taking him so long to become undisputed, because I think only one other guy, Akhmadaliev, has the other 2 belts. So I want that fight next for him. He gets that fight next. He moves up a little bit more in the pound for pound, but skill-wise, you can see he already deserves to be on the pound for pound list. He's beaten a lot of undefeated fighters as well, so you can't really overlook Cool Boy Steph. I mean, Stephen Fulton is that guy in my number 5. Number 6, we got Shakur Newark. Nah, I don't think Shakur has a nickname. I was going to call him Shakur Newark Stevenson, but nah, just a little Shakur Stevenson. We all know this kid, Olympic silver gold medalist. Started at 126, became a champion. For some reason, did not fight Gary Russell Jr. Moved up to 130. Is now unified. He beat Jamel Herring and beat Oscar Valdez. Technical, very technical fighter. Kind of unfuckwittable, you know. Slick, defense first southpaw, who's stepping on the gas to try to get people up out of there. This is where my list kind of gets a little young. So number 7, we have Jamal Hitman Charlo. Everything Jamal Charlo has done from 154 and up, at 154, has garnered him pound for pound acclaim, in my opinion. My issue is he slowed down a little bit on having his foot on the gas at 160. He did become a champion at 160, but again, this is another one of the I left off of Earl Spence, that he was the most ducked fighter in boxing, but behind Earl Spence, Charlo had G-String Diva ducking him, and Canelo Alvarez ducking him. So we can't overlook that. And same for my number 8, Demetrius Boo Boo Andre. He's essentially a B-class version of Jamal Charlo, someone who became a champion at 154 and at 160, and they're both also eyeballing 168, and got G-String Diva and Canelo Alvarez ducking them. So that said, when we look at these 2 guys, that slowed their momentum. It shouldn't have slowed them. It slowed their momentum for collecting belts, but it shouldn't have slowed their momentum for garnering names in their weight class, which is why they're so low on my pound for pound. But they're still better than all of them other fighters in the world. So y'all gonna have to step it up if y'all gonna have some, or want me to have some other fighters higher than them on my pound for pound. But Demetrius Andre, switch hitter. He's a very good southpaw. Can bang a little bit out of the orthodox stance. Boo Boo, you know what I mean? He's Mr. It's Me again. Yeah, so that's number 8. Number 9, we got Gervonta Tank Davis, the collector of JV belts. This kid, he's amazing. He's an amazing fighter from what we see aesthetically. Eye test, like when we're talking about Bud, because Bud, he has a suspect names. He has suspect names and bodies, and same with Tank. Period. There's no other way around it. A bunch of who's that? I don't know this guy. Never seen him fight before. Never seen him fight after. And but he's been collecting them JV belts. He's fought in, I think, 3 divisions: 29, 30, 35, 40. So 4 divisions. And yeah, he's knocking stuff out. So I do have to say, if you question Terrence Crawford being on anyone's list, then you definitely have to question Tank Davis. It works the same way. Neither have real names on their resume in their prime, and but they do have these like decorations, or what we will call accolades. And my last spot, I was going to go to Gary Russell Jr. Because with only one loss to Lomachenko, it keeps him in the pound for pound status. But with getting cheated out of the Mark Magsayo thing, I don't want to really speak on that. I would say Boots Ennis right now, though. Boots Ennis is my number 10 spot. Boots Ennis has the volume on his resume, just like Bud, just like Tank Davis. But Boots Ennis is he is the quintessential example of or even the living in the flesh version of eye test. The guy, he goes in there and displays elite level of boxing, high IQ, etc., etc. Like, beat the dead horse, and talk in circles about the guy. The guy is that great. He's just like Earl Spence, Devin Haney, and Jamal Charlo, in the sense that no one wants to fight this guy. And with him, it's blatantly obvious on why, because he has the power of, say, someone like Earl Spence or a Tank, but then has like the slickness, or what OG would call the breakdancing abilities of like what they would say a Terrence Crawford or Devin Haney. You know what I mean? So like, when you look at Boots, I don't see how he could be lower than number 10 unless you just go based off of names and titles. There I can understand, but for someone who's being ducked, who wants all of the smoke, he definitely earns and garners a spot on my list. And so you guys have my list. Obviously, it's a cold black affair. This is the pound for pound for Prince, the Hustle God, aka Wise the Warlock. I like my pound for pound list. It's unfuckwittable. If you got a pound for pound list with better people on there, you got to show me something. Again, I'm not going to explain what Cold Black Affair is, as I already have, but if it isn't obvious enough at this point, it should be, before the video, it should be at this point. So that's how we step in. That's my top 10. And if you want me to come back with my 10 and on, 10 to 20 best fighters in the world, then I'll give that to you. But until next time, guys, deuces.